Yeah, I think courting Blakness has been really important for the uni generally, because it's a reminder, and it's a prompt even for us to reconsider or even reimagine the past, and to think more thoughtfully about Indigenous and white relations in the here and now, and then go from here with this new kind of new perceptions and new reimaginings.
So it's about, okay, what is the debt?
So I'm Sean. I'm doing Com 1000, and one thing that this artwork's actually really done is got me to spend more time in the Great Court. I'm a college student, so I actually live at the university, but I spend like no time here. I'm usually just passing from college to class, or walking across to get to one of the bus stops, but I've never actually spent more than a couple seconds in here really, maybe like one or two chats, but it's like kind of changed the sense of place a little, in that like now I see it more than just like a thoroughfare. It's like a place to meet people and head off somewhere else. It's kind of like strengthened the idea of like this place is a bit more central to the university and the university's identity. It's also done really well with like the artwork, because like the artwork's kind of made me come here, spend more time here, just appreciate it a bit more. And like the artwork I actually kind of connect with, because I was born and grew up in an Aboriginal settlement, and so it's really nice to see sort of an Indigenous like place within this place. So yeah.
I think across each of these installations we're given a reimagining of something historical. And through my eyes we have, you know, a reconstruction of these very familiar faces when it comes to Australia's white political history. I think the re-representation of these faces as Indigenous offers us a glimpse of a past that might have been, and if not that, then a future that, you know, potentially could be.
I think it's interesting how I've walked past these works all week, and it's only coming up to them realising how intricate they are, because from afar they seem quite colourful and playful and fairly happy colours, and when you look at them there's just a lot more depth to it, and I think that could relate to how we kind of gloss over Aboriginal history and try and smooth it out and not really talk about it. So I think that having this in a public space is asking us to think about it more, and to talk about it, to start a conversation. I think it's kind of interesting how it's either coming out of the ground or falling into it. I'm not quite sure. And it's kind of reworking the history, because all of our banknotes always have, you know, white, powerful, successful people. We've got the Queen, but most of the other ones are men as well. And then it's kind of replacing Aboriginals in that, and kind of questioning whether or not, if we had supported them more in society, would we have more figures that are Aboriginal that would be able to go on our banknotes, that would be able to represent Australia in that same capacity.
I think a similar thing is being done with the installation Debt, in that we have this historical artefact, the banknote, and it's been altered and, you know, reproduced to represent something, you know, an alternative path that perhaps history could have taken, and which really makes you think as an individual about, you know, Australian identity, what it could have been and what it perhaps might be.
I really like this artwork. It's all about debt, and then you can see the importance of money, and the X is in black, and I feel like that represents the Aboriginal people, and it can even be a message of how impoverished the Aboriginal people are, but they're also part of the land. There are so many people in our Australian money today that are important, but then we never think about the Aboriginal people in like this.
So what I think I really like about flags is that it represents the individuality of the Aboriginal tribes in all the different clans, and the fact that students here at UQ have their own individual classes, different subjects that they kind of connect to as well. So bringing that to the Great Court and showing how students come together in the Great Court and these flags have come together in the Great Court is something I really find interesting. And the respect of having these flags in the Great Court alongside the actual Australian flag, and just that seriousness and respect is something I think is really important when we think about our Indigenous elders and the recognition that they should deserve and have.
And again, you see a similar thing happening with Archie Moore's flags. We have this homogenous kind of signifier of belonging, like the Aboriginal flag, but it's being challenged in this installation because it's almost being represented, the multiplicity of it all is really being underscored, the multiplicity of identity, of, Aboriginality, that is.